Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of BLS Tech, and today we have a special episode for you. We're going to be covering a notes app that we've been working on called MimicNotes. It's a mashup of all of our favorite note-taking apps like Obsidian, Joplin, NotePlan, Twos, all the great things. And what we're doing is created a chef's curated experience of how we feel you should be leveraging a note-taking application to manage your entire life, your work, or even just research. What's great about this app that it's all local only, very private, so all your notes are stored as Markdown files on your local system. You can leverage whatever sync technology, whether that be Dropbox, SyncThing, Google Drive, Proton Drive. So this application is currently for macOS at this current present time. We have plans to bring it to Windows, Linux, Android, iOS down the road. But with this, you are presented with a single pane of glass into all your notes, very similar to some of the other apps, but this particular app is fully optimized to be very fast, very efficient. And we want to be able to adapt it to your workflows based on your feedback. So you get to actually drive the roadmap of this application. So on the far left, we have our little toolbar here, which you can also tuck in the sidebar as needed. We have search, we have Mimic AI, we have daily notes, we have tasks or lists, I would say. We have tasks, we have a graph view similar to Obsidian and or other applications, and we have tags. Then at the bottom here, we have focus mode if you want to dive into something that you're just trying to put some focus into. We have light and dark mode, and then the settings menu, which we'll go through in just a moment. In our sidebar, you can see all your notes across all your notebooks, similar to Evernote. You can dive into your daily notes. This is very good for journaling. So if you click on Open Daily Note, you're automatically presented to today's note, and you can just dive right in. Within each note, there is a toolbar that provides you with the ability to set all your headings, checkboxes, lists, bold, italics, highlighting, links, etc. And then on the far side, if I just close this, on the far side, you can also add photos, YouTube preview links, other videos like MP4s, audios, and file links. We'll talk about how these attachments live inside your vault later. And a vault is just a folder with all your Markdown. You can have multiple vaults. You can have one for work, one for personal research, etc. And then obviously you get all the other formatting options, including encrypted secrets. So you can actually encrypt blocks of text or information within a single note. And yes, this is presented to you in the way in the raw Markdown file to where you can decrypt this using open source tools. So again, if you lose access to this app or if you just don't want to use it anymore, your Markdown, even with encrypted secrets, are fully transferable to any other application that supports AES encryption. I'm going to close these. If we go over here to lists, you can create lists. Again, think of it like creating shopping lists, your gaming lists, favorite movies, what you're reading. A list can consist of multiple different properties, so you can create items that are to-dos, notes, reminders, in which case the app will remind you, events like birthdays, weddings, links, and or sublists. So yes, links can have multiple sublists, which is great. For tasks, you can see what's open, what's done. If we go over here to task list view, not the list view, but task list view, you can see all the tasks across all your applications, when they were completed and when they were created. You'll also see reminders here as well. So this is kind of like your global view for tasks and reminders. And then we have the graph view. So you can see all the nodes, which nodes correspond to other nodes. If there's a note that is unlinked, meaning that you linked to a note that doesn't exist, you'll see it as a dotted line bubble. There's also a legend down here in the bottom left. And then you have full functionality into customizing to how this looks and feels on the right. And then you can filter down to nodes, tags, projects, etc. up here in the search bar. As far as notebooks, we start you off with the para method. I personally like the para method. So you can see here that we give you a note which kind of walks you through the para method, projects, areas, resources, and archives. You can create as many notebooks as you want. You can also rename notebooks and change the icon here. So I can change this one to, let's say, the notebook one. You can see here. So very, very customizable. We may be supporting you to upload your own custom icons down the road. And then obviously tags. So you can create as many tags as you like, and everything's kind of nicely organized here on the left, which again, you can tuck away. Now, if you also want to tuck away this outline view, we may be adding other options here down the road, but you can also tuck this away by clicking this button here, and we can hide that. For every note, you can duplicate the note, you can copy the note, so you can copy it as plain text, rich text, Markdown, HTML, or just the highlighted parts. And you can also export as PDF and or Markdown. And then you can also trash the note if you want to do that as well. And then the top right, we have what's called our command palette. So if you click on this, you get a command palette to where you can easily add a note to today, to do. You can add a reminder, is really like your shortcuts list. We'll have the ability for you to add custom shortcuts later, but for now, this is pretty much locked in. And then Mimic AI is our private AI solution. So what we typically do is we automatically detect Ollama. Ollama is a application that you can install on, it's an open source application for AI for running local open weight models. It supports Windows, Linux, and Mac. You can go to ollama.ai and install it. If we automatically detect this, we will also pull in all the models that you have downloaded. You can set the temperature, and then you can automatically start asking questions of your notes. And what will happen is immediately after you ask questions, you'll get an answer. Now this was just me just doing some actual testing, but you'll get an answer to your question, which model you used, and then we'll keep the last 10 answers so you can look back. You can also use remote OpenAI, any OpenAI compatible engines or any remote Ollama instances. So for instance, I have Ollama running on a remote machine that has a dedicated GPU. And so I point MimicNotes to that, and that's where I do all my inference. But again, most of you probably have Ollama installed on your local machines. Again, we will support third-party providers later, but we really wanted to focus on privacy with this release. If we open up the vaults menu in the bottom left, it's very similar to Obsidian as well. You can manage multiple vaults. When you create a new vault, you're put into this onboarding step where you can name the vault, kick it off with the parent method onboarding, or you can go ahead and just go with a default notebook, very similar to Evernote. You can manage multiple vaults at once, so you can switch back and forth as you like. And also within the settings menu, you have the ability to change your theme. We're going to be able to support custom themes down the road. You can support and manage your custom key bindings to your workflow. We can also go over the templates, and you can create a template. By default, we allow you to set a template for every notebook that you have. So if you have a different template that you want to apply to projects versus areas, you can do that here. And then you can also set what your templates directory is. For us, it's templates by default. And if you scroll down, this is where you set the file name of your template and then your template itself. And you can choose from a variety of different variables to include in your template to pre-populate certain information. So I think that's very cool. For backups, we treat backups as a first-class citizen. So we recommend the 3-2-1 backup method. And if you don't know what that is, we provide a link to Backblaze guide on that. I do recommend Backblaze if you don't have a backup client on your machine. They've been awesome. Love what they do. No complaints there. You typically need to set a backup location on where you want your backups to go. We will tar up or zip up all your Markdown files and folders into a zip file. We recommend that your backup location is typically something outside of your vault location. This could be a different drive, it can be a USB drive, it can be a different partition on your hard drive. But we actually recommend that it's either somewhere that if you are using Backblaze.com, that Backblaze is backing that up. So somewhere in your home directory and or OneDrive, Google Drive, Proton Drive, wherever your cloud storage of choice is, we recommend you have a way to ensure that those zip files are being copied off your system to some other location, even if that's S3 or Amazon Glacier. You can set schedules on when you want your backups to happen, so hourly, daily, or weekly. I will say that the application does need to be running for those backups to be scheduled and ran. If you do end up closing MimicNotes and you reopen it later, we will kick off a one-time backup and follow the schedule as set. And then you can restore your backups as you like. We just need to know where that zip file is that you want to restore. We will be also supporting imports from other note-taking applications, especially ones that support Markdown. So those are coming later, but if you have a need of migrating notes from some other application into MimicNotes that are already in Markdown format, you can just copy those into your Vault location. If you don't know where your Vault location is, you can click on the top right here and go to reveal your Vault, either in Finder if you're on Windows or File Explorer if you're on Windows. And then if you're on Linux, it would be whatever File Explorer you have. So if you're using whatever flavor or distribution of Linux, it should map to that just fine. For MimicNotes, we do charge a one-time license fee. Again, you own it fully. There are other applications that also support this model, but this is just for us to not only support future development. We really want to develop this application to tailor to your workflow, really focus on things that you want to be part of this application. We will be offering managed backups and managed end-to-end encrypted sync later on, and so this license fees helps us to maintain the infrastructure to support that. And then we also have a way for you to automatically be up to date. We do recommend that you keep automatic checks automatically turned on, but you can also turn this off and then manually update when you see fit. For attachments, this is again for everything that's outside of Markdown. So there's those photos, MP4s, audio files, anything else that you're storing in your Vault or attaching to a note. This is where you can set that location, whether it be in the same notebook that the note exists or a custom folder. Settings around Mimic AI. So again, I'm pointing to my current machine that has my GPU and Ollama running. We also support any OpenAI-compatible instance like OpenRouter or OpenAI. And then this is the history of answers. So as you ask questions to Mimic AI, will keep a history of those answers for you. And then you have full control over the system prompt that is provided to that model prior to us sending in your prompt. And so you can provide some guidance for how you want the model to handle your questions when you're talking to Ollama. And then obviously, last but not least, a help and about. So how to get to our guide, our documentation, our website, how to contact support. And then we wish that you would join our community on Reddit, not only to help guide the product so we can adapt this application to your workflows, but also to be part of the community. And then because we do leverage a lot of open source, we want to make sure that we attribute back to those folks that are building great libraries and great open source. And so these are third-party projects that not only do we want to attribute to, but we also sponsor in many different ways. So thank you so much for listening, and we hope to see you soon. And again, feel free to join the community or reach out to support. If you have any questions, or definitely comment in the video below so we can hear your feedback. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, if there's any other content that you wish to see on this channel, please reach out. Always welcome to make videos to help you learn more and just be an overall better technologist. With that, bye-bye.